Welcome everyone. This is episode 18 of the Transmaxxing podcast, and today's topic is dating as male versus dating as female. So why not start it well and ask about your experience with dating before and after transitioning?
So before transitioning, I had a very horrible time. I was a little shy as well. I felt like women were very pretty, and it was just hard for me to confront them. But I felt like the weirdness of me it was off-putting to women, and then the rejection just made it even harder to try even more. But after transition, there wasn't even a worry about going up to people. These guys were asking me out and stuff, and even found my feminine role model and my trans partner who took my virginity that way. And yeah, she was amazing. And it's very easy. They just come up to you.
That's so true.
It got me way more confident, and now I can even pursue the higher value males because of this confidence and understanding how to attract men and stuff, because I was given these opportunities to just thrive in a comfortable space.
I had a similar experience. For me, as far as dating goes, I was kind of attracting the wrong people at first. I was mostly attracting way older guys, and I was attracting other feminine gay guys. That was my biggest issue. Everyone that was interested in dating me was not what I was interested in. I was interested in guys my age who were willing to be more masculine and be submissive and feminine, and kind of cater to the environment and that dynamic. But what I found was a lot of gay guys prefer having an equal relationship. There's no man, there's no woman, because they consider that too heteronormative. What they prefer is both parties are seen as equal. There's no dominance or submission. You guys take turns doing everyone's versatile and stuff like that, and that's just expected, And I knew that's not what I wanted as far as dating goes. I prefer being submissive all the time. I prefer only bottoming. I prefer being taken care of. And I knew if I dated as a gay man, I would be not getting what I wanted out of that. If that makes any sense. I wouldn't get what I wanted.
I guess the main way to maybe get something like that, dating gay males, will be if you date older males who are less attracted, and maybe you can get some arrangement like that. But
the only issue is you have an expiration date.
Yeah, of course.
That relationship can't thrive for a long time. What? For 4 years, 5 years? And then you're throwing away in the trash and you replace you with a younger guy. At least for if you build a lifelong bond as a woman, it's kind of socially unacceptable to throw away your older woman and replace them with a younger woman. You're seen as I don't know, morally a bad person. When guys divorce their old wives for younger wives, their community looks down on them oh, this guy's he's not a good person, he's not a quality man. They see him as lesser than. But if you I don't know, dating a gay guy and you're dating an older guy, if he replaces you with some younger guy, no one really is gonna care. There's no societal repercussions or anything.
One very obvious thing with dating is that currently in Western societies there is a lot of desperation among males. So what we see happening is that there are so many males who are desperate to even talk to females, so they might cool approach them at the street. They might swipe every girl on Tinder just to hope that someone will match them back. If there are some dating sites where you can write to everyone, then they'll just spam every female with a message and hope that someone will respond. So because of that desperation, females respond with making it harder to approach them. So if you try to talk to them, they don't really respond because they don't want to waste their time on you. So the main way to date, as I have found out as a male, is that you basically have to use dating apps. You have to wait for someone to like you and match with you. But even then, you're not guaranteed at all to actually find a partner. And here in VC-text actually posted a graph here. It was a female, she swiped 30,000 times. and she swiped right 3,645, and then she got 2,434 matches, but then only half of those resulted in messaging, and out of those it was 453 longer convos. She ended up meeting up with just 5 people, and it was one long-term relationship. So like when you look at those stats, like it's not pretty at all. Because you might think, because you might match with a female on Tinder, that you have a good chance of dating her, but here we see that she had 2,434 matches, and only one of those ended up with anything long term.
That's interesting. Dating for men definitely fucking sucks, honestly. I think it's just because, like, the way the dating market's going, like, a lot of women, like, think they're more attractive than they actually are because, like, Snapchat filters and, like, Instagram and, like, social media makes women think, like, of themselves more, like, attractive than they actually are. And, like, they might rate themselves, they might be, like, naturally, I don't know, a 7 or, like, a 6. But on social media, like, editing apps and all types of stuff, they might be a 9 or 10. So they might not like try to like they might try to date like way above their means and not having good results versus like dating a guy who's like either slightly more attractive than them or like just as attractive as them. Like they're looking for like a unicorn or whatever, and like the men are like so desperate they'll take anything. Like that's how I feel it is going right now, honestly.
What many people don't realize is that a lot of females don't really care too much about the relationship. So even if the standards are unrealistic, they don't really care to lower the standards because they'd rather be alone, because they don't really have this large sex drive. While males, if they are in a relationship, they will like feel bad, they will feel the urge to have sex, not really have a good outlet for it. While females are just fine on their own, and this creates this big imbalance where there are always the desperate males and females are not really interested.
Yeah, it really sucks, but I feel like if people like were more realistic and more practical, dating would be a lot easier. Like I feel like a lot of people like lack common sense and like morality. Like there's so many guys who like might like lead these women on to making them think that like they're quality men and like they want something serious with them. But in reality, like it's just like I don't know, the 5 billion like match he got that finally responded and like he finally wants to get laid because like he's been swiping and matching so long, like no girl's been contacting him or wanting to hang out with him. Like this one option to get laid, he will take it, and he won't really value the girl and like want to be with her long term. So that fucks things up. And then that girl's like, oh, all these men are trash on this app. Like I'm just gonna like swipe right on guys and not respond to them and like to like raise my ego and make me feel better about myself. And just like an overall cycle of with bad things happening on dating apps because people are really like selfish and like not really practical as far as dating goes or realistic.
I'm not sure
Like
how
there's actually
many
sorry.
males there are who don't want to like commit. I think most males are like desperate, so they want to have like a long-term relationships if they can get it. But there are some like very attractive males who might not want that, they might not want to commit because they have like other options. So I think there are a minority of men who are like that, where they might lead the female on, don't really date her long term, I just swap her out. But because females might be more likely to end up with those males because they have very high goals for what they want, they end up being like bumped and dumped, even though it's totally unavoidable.
Yeah, they
Oh,
just
there's
like
this website. Oh, sorry.
yeah, they just like get finessed by like it's like the same guys finessing all the women into having the bad experiences about all these other guys who may not even get the chance to like, help like
Yeah,
give
like
women dates and like show them how beautiful and how deserving of love they are.
that is so true. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like a victim of the same way. Like, I had like 1 or 2 bad experiences dating, and I said, oh yeah, fuck all men, I don't care. And I kind of had the same mentality for a bit. So I realized, like, okay, dating like this is not getting me anywhere. It can get me, like, I guess, benefits as far as, like, financial benefits or, like, gifts and stuff. But, like, the relationships never go anywhere because I'm not, like, entering it from an honest, like, perspective or, like, a realistic perspective. Like, going into dating thinking, like, oh, every guy's gonna be like that one guy that was evil to you or mean to you It's like so like you're putting like all your baggage on one person that probably has nothing to do with that, you know? It's not really fair. So there's a website, right? And it has like basically it's like your dating standards calculator. Basically it calculates the amount of men or women who meet your standards. So it's height, ethnicity, weight, and financial income. And I did my thing, right? Like I put my like ideal standards for dating. And it literally said like the amount of men you have to look out for are like 0.000.5% of men. I feel like a lot of women have those kind of standards that like they're really looking for a needle in a haystack, so maybe they just need to lower them or like be more realistic or practical, honestly.
Yeah, but
Because like finding the ideal man does not exist usually.
As I said before, I don't think they really care if they have those high standards because they don't really suffer when they are alone. Like if they had discomfort from being alone, they will lower the standards fairly quickly. But if they don't lower the standards at all, they might not be that interested in actually being in a relationship with the men. They might like fantasize about the distance of the morning and get them more excited than actually being with the boring guy.
Yeah, it is more sexually exciting to swipe on dating apps than it is to actually being on a date, honestly. Because it's like the excitement and like the like dopamine of getting like liked and people are attracted to you, and getting the validation of saying that, oh, you are enough, you are attractive enough, you are beautiful. But on a date, like having to face the person that you see as just a number to like validate you is like such a black pill, honestly, because this guy might not be like your ideal partner, he might not be attractive to you, he just is a person that you want to date with just because like, you know, it's the dopamine like validation of it, you know? I feel a lot of women do that, like they don't even care about being in a relationship, but they go on dates just for validation. I don't know.
Exactly. They feel like they don't need a full-time man because they can just have a man on the go anytime they need one.
It's sad, but it actually is true though. A woman can literally download any app and go on a date any moment. At any time of the day. It could be 4 o'clock in the morning, and the average guy will probably go on a date with her.
I can very much understand why this is appealing. It sounds kinda interesting to me at least to just meet up random guys and maybe have them pay for the meal or whatever. Like it sounds nice.
I think it's because women are like more emotional versus like sexual. Like a lot of their like feelings about like dating and like a romance are more based on like emotions versus like sexual appeal or like appearance. Like appearance obviously matters, but like I wouldn't say it's the biggest piece of the puzzle. Like a lot of girls, like the reason like attractive men is because like they have the idea that like these men are more romantic or more attractive or more desired, not because they're like sexy or anything. If that makes any sense. Like they have this picture of like I don't know Prince Charming and like he looks this way and like he's not this way just because he looks that way. But in reality, a lot of these like attractive men are like dog shit and just want to use you. So there's the Lulu.
Yeah. A lot of it kind of comes down to like the vibes when it comes to women, and I feel like they do get clouded a lot when it comes to attractive people for sure, where it's like if you are attractive, you don't have to put much effort in like trying to be a pleasant person. You'll just get the woman.
That's so relatable. Oh my god, why does this kind of sound like a manosphere podcast? Because we're talking down on women so much.
I'm not saying there's anything bad. I'm just explaining the ways they go through it. And I even feel the same way, though. It's like, you know, like some of these people are just like complete dog shit, but just because like they say the right things to me is like just gets me going.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of, yeah, it's a little bit of the opposite for me, but like, yeah. Even hot guys do it a little bit for the opposite way, where it's like they're not even doing much. I just want to be with them.
True. A hot guy could literally just stare at me. I'm like, bro, I wonder what his dick looks like. And like, I don't even know why I had that thought. I don't know if it's just my libido that's like too high, or like he just looks so hot that's the first thing my mind goes to. But like, I don't even know why I find attractive men attractive. Bro, we should make a podcast about that. Why are attractive men attractive? Anyway, let me stop going off topic.
Yeah, basically you're attracted to traits of health. Often the traits that are ugly is because someone has some illness, some deformity, some issue, environment to select against it because people are attracted to healthy genetics, people who you can have children with. So then when you find someone that doesn't show signs of that, you're unattracted to them. But of course, this is more general than children with.
If like it's all about like fertility and like I guess sexual ability or like health, or gay men or like trans women or like lesbians attracted to like people of like different genders. Like they obviously can't procreate unless they're like I don't know with the opposite sex or like opposite I guess pre-transition sex or whatever. Like so what is the purpose of like their attraction then if it's not like for fertility or like health for
I
reproduction or
mean,
whatever? It's like the same
Your
mechanism.
brain is basically running the instinct, the natural instinct, even if it's not a logical kind of action.
Oh my god, so it reminds thinking about me getting bread.
Yes.
Thinking about me getting pregnant, that's crazy.
yeah, it is like that. This is your instincts, and they might be like out of place originally for another purpose. So while our genes have been modified by what promotes survival and reproduction, it doesn't mean that all of our behaviors are actually beneficial for it because there might be like a mismatch, there might be some like mutation, there might be some random thing, some random combination of genetics or environment that makes it maladaptive, and this happens all the time. It's just how things are. So
That's interesting. I guess it's the same like mechanism then, basically.
males, for example, are attracted to breasts or the signs of like fertility, even if there is like a trans girl, you still find it attractive because she has those sex characteristics you find attractive, even though you can't actually make her pregnant.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's a little crazy thing because estrogen has made me a lot more attracted to just like dick pics in general.
Honestly, same. Is it gross that I'm more attracted to like a dick pic than like a face pic, honestly? I think it's because it's just such like a sexual like iconography or whatever, like it's like a sexual symbol. Like a face doesn't do the same thing. Because like a
I
face is just a
like
face.
both, but yeah, I think I'd prefer a dick over a face, to be honest, if it was just one.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's because it's very hard to get off to just a face. Like, what is sexual about that? But honestly, there's freaking guys who like literally get off to like pictures of women. Like, what's it called? I think it's called like a cum tribute or something. So there, I guess men are more likely to get off to faces than bodies. I don't know, because like you don't see like trans women really doing that. It's mostly just men jerking off to people's faces or like magazines and stuff.
But it's because males have this high libido that they have to constantly like keep in check or manage, or they will like spiral really badly. There's so many
So like
males.
literally anything could just make them like basically get off essentially because they're like so, I guess like horny or like have their libidos really high. Let's talk about like benefits to dating men and like how those benefits are compared to like dating women. So as I've actually dated one woman in my lifetime, like when I was like in frickin' elementary school before my first boyfriend. And there's very few like benefits honestly. Like I guess you have sexual access stuff, you know. That's pretty much it honestly. But as far as dating men, you could be provided for, like provisions, you could have gifts, you could receive like sexual validation as a woman, you can men are just look better, objectively in my opinion. A man could protect you. In a lot of like states, if you get married to a man, like if he divorces you, like you take like mostly half or lose money basically.
I heard that in some areas, I don't know how many, you only get half of his like net worth increase for that period, but I don't know the details.
I think it's called like a prenup or some shit. Like you like basically say, oh, for this period of time, like for the whole like entire marriage, if we separate, then this is how the money's gonna be divided. Just like you're not gonna get any more money basically. But I think that's very rare actually. I think only really rich people do that honestly, because I'm pretty sure if you're marrying your partner, like you should be able to trust them with your finances, like that they won't just spend all your money or like take all your money. If that makes any sense. But That's pretty much it as far as benefits. There's a lot compared to dating women, which is just like sexual access to her body.
Yeah, especially with the state of feminism and like how women are like they don't want to support men any more than they think they should. So a lot of times the benefit that you could possibly have, having like someone to talk to and lean on, a lot of times they're not into that anymore. They're like, I'm not your therapist. You should pay someone to talk to do that. And
I'm not
like,
your mother. Talk to your mom about that. It's
I'm
none of my
not your mother,
business.
I'm not your therapist, I'm not this, like
I'm not a maid.
with this, yeah, with the state of like how women are, you don't really get much dating as a man, really. There is the con as like when you are dating men that like there is a power dynamic. It's best to get out, and we are living in a society that is very pro woman, so it is much easier to get out, but it's still true that there's like this tie and like sometimes still loving your person who's harming you and stuff. So it is hard, but there's so
Oh my
much
god.
support out there for you that it makes it easier to get out and be able to recover and be able to find a new lover.
Oh my
Get
god, is
back into
dating
the
women
game.
self-harm? Holy shit. I just thought about that. Because like women don't really do anything for you. It's maybe is that self-harm? Dating a
Uh,
woman?
A
there
little bit.
are, I can see like three reasons to date a woman. The first reason is like sex. The second reason is you might be able to make her pregnant, have a child with her. And the third reason is like social validation. And then actually there's a fourth reason that you can like cuddle and things like that, companionship, which isn't that valuable today maybe. Also maybe well, like 20 years ago it was more valuable to have this companionship aspect, but I think a lot of females are kind of cool and not a little compassionate.
But couldn't you get all those things just to hook up, honestly?
Almost. The hardest
Yeah,
part is the same. The hardest part for a man is the same one in general is having a child because the women still believe that's 100% in their choice, and then basically you are under the
you just
wraps of this woman if you ever want to have a child, whichever
oh my
woman that may
god.
be.
That's interesting. Oh my god, we should make a podcast about feminism, honestly. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
It's planned. I find it frustrating that when you are dating women, you have to like lower your standards so much to like get anything, or at least for me, when you don't have like a good job, because like back then when I was dating, I was actually a NEET, which made it harder. I had to rely a lot on my looks, which kind of worked sometimes, but then the issue was that I was looking for someone to have children with, and then it was basically impossible. Because there were so many females who didn't even want children in the first place. Or they had children and didn't want more. To actually find someone to have a child with is way harder than just getting sex.
that's so true. Because like honestly, there's like a whole like community like online of dinks, no kids, like relationships. That's being promoted as normal for like Gen Z, because like a lot of them see the world either it's overpopulated or they feel like having kids is like a stress thing and they don't need that in their lives. So like so many young women do not want children, and like I think that's like, such an interesting like, direction that society is going in. That like we might live in a world where like the world's like underpopulated and like everyone's either gay or trans, and no woman wants to have children. That will
Yeah,
be an interesting world to live in.
yeah, what might happen is that when the fertility rate is low, they might like attack trans people because they are a small minority, but they don't really do anything about females not having enough children. We see that a lot in America, for example. I'm not saying this is the reason for why trans people are being attacked politically, but it's just strange to me how all problems are blamed on minorities.
Yeah, they're gonna attack every minority group, saying like, "Oh, they're the issue why people aren't procreating," because these people exist, and it's just honestly like gays and like trans people make such a small minority in society and like the world. Like, if every gay person like had babies, to like add to like, I don't know, procreation rates or whatever. I doubt it would really change much, honestly, because there's such a small group compared to the world of
There
like
are
majority heterosexual people.
there are actually some gay people who do have children that are various ways. You can like do insemination, you can like hook up temporarily, like even if it's a lesbian, you can like do natural insemination with like a gay for that purpose and just overlook the fact that he's male. And some people resort to that, so there are various options. Do you mind going over your experience dating? Just briefly.
I guess as a girl, you don't really have to put in as much effort. Guy will usually make most of the effort, and that's typical in like heterosexual relationships. Like that to guys where it's like sometimes I am a very awkward person in general. So like, just with this one guy, I was like, sorry for being dry. And then he was like, no worries, you're just like a regular girl, I have to carry the conversation. I'm like, oh. It's like not expected of a girl to be like super engaging and like being like, oh, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Blah, blah, blah. I do that. Like, that's not really how most women are. Most women aren't that like extroverted. Depends on what kind of person you are, but for me personally, I'm like a shy person. So, and I feel like being like a shy, quiet, like reserved girl is a lot more appealing than being a shy, quiet, reserved guy.
From my experience, a lot of females have chat with on dating apps when I was still like actively dating. I had to constantly carry the conversation and keep things going. And they could like without warning just unmatch you. So just to put
Well,
a bit of effort and then nothing.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, that's why I'm hesitant to speak on it because I've never dated a woman and I don't know how those. But what I do know is from my own relative, like own experience, how I feel there's just a lot less pressure if you're female or assuming that role, and you don't have to do as much, and you don't. It's usually the guys that are putting in the effort, paying for the date, taking you out, that's I mean,
Yeah.
maybe not so much anymore. I mean, me personally, if I'm with a guy, I'm not paying for the date. Like I don't know, that's something I wouldn't do. And I feel like that's just mainly because like if you think about it like evolutionarily, males are always competing for females as a resource, and that resource is reproduction, so it's a little bit different in trans, but I feel like that underlying mechanism is still there to an extent. Whereas like men are always competing for females, and females are in demand. So in order to attract females, they need to show women how established they are. They have money. Like the birds of paradise, the bird with like the prettiest coloring. Peacocks too. The peacocks with the prettiest plumage and like feathers, more likely to attract a mate.
Bigger thing when it comes to women is I think it's less about like the material stuff they have, but the more willing to spend the money to create these good times. Like if a guy is willing to buy you tickets to some sort of concert you like, that's gonna be like a much bigger in than just like some rich dude who won't even let you into his mansion, you know?
Well, yeah, but nowadays it's a bit different because obviously both women and men work. So I feel like in the back of every woman's mind, it's okay, well, I don't want to be with a man that's broke or doesn't have any money. I want to be with a man who can provide and is financially stable for when I do have kids. Because carrying a child that's a very risky thing to do because you're very vulnerable for those 9 months and after. And you have that 18-year long burden, essentially. So you have to make sure the guy you're deciding to be with is a good mate,
These women struggled with math. I don't think the numbers are the biggest part they care about. It's about the feelings, and it's about making sure, exactly how you said, making sure there is security. Security to the finance.
I
Yep.
don't actually think it's that easy to find like high quality males because if you actually try an experiment like dating as a female on a dating app, or if you like ask someone, like most women will tell you that actually finding a good partner is very difficult, and this is because people in general are kind of shitty just very rare that I find like males that I find to be good people, to be honest, or excellent people. So if I was a female, I would probably like reject like the 99.9% of the male population, to be honest.
Really? I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. That depends on standards, and everyone has different standards.
There's this weird finesse as dating as a guy where you definitely have to try too hard, but you have to act like you're just playing it cool and nonchalant the entire time. It's ridiculous.
It definitely helps to look good, but I think just having the looks kinda get the foot in the door. Maybe if you are like a supermodel, you can rely just on that. But I think for most males, they might look good enough to get a match, but then they fail at the next steps when it comes to like conversation, having like the money, being able to put in the time as well. Because there's this time issue with dating that you have to constantly swipe and converse with females, and then you like spend like 3 days talking to her and nothing comes out of it. They just waste your time, or like you're kind of wasting your time with her because you're the one messaging her in the first place. So you're kind of wasting her time as well.
That is
You think it's a waste of time if a guy messages a girl first? So you said, I'm sorry.
No, I said that it's kind of a waste of time in the sense that you're messaging all these people and trying to like build something with them, and then they just like can message you without warning. You don't even know what you did wrong.
You just listen and copy paste message, like copy and paste some basic greetings into every girl and see your response. That's how it works. It's like a numbers game.
Yeah, you kind of need to play this number game where you have like maybe some like pre-written message that you send to everyone, or tweak it slightly.
Yeah, there's an inconsistency with women as well, where they want the rich guy. They also want them to be unemployed for like the amount of like time they spend with them, kind of thing. They want them to be that
so
rich
true.
that they can just not work as well.
Yeah, they want the man to be like super rich, but like spend time with them 24/7, give them attention 24/7, and constantly text them and call them. And that's just not realistic, honestly.
Yeah, but
like what man's providing for you has to get money.
Is that even if you have like lots of money, don't work, they will kind of distrust it because they think it's kind of weird that you're not working. So.
Oh my god, he's a flight risk. He doesn't work all day. Like, what is he doing? He might be cheating on me. Like, it's just a bunch of like scenarios that they let go in their minds that just are just like honestly destructive relationships.
If you're not working, they are going to get suspicious about you. They think that there's something wrong with him because he doesn't have a job.
Oh yeah, like he's a loser.
It's like there's too many fantasies going on, and the man can't just fulfill every single one of them. You know, having the status of a job, but having the time to spend as much time as they want with them, and sometimes it's just like impossible standards in general.
You actually think that if you, for example, are self-employed and do some like online business or whatever, they will not really trust that because they think they are like bullshitting, because a lot of males are like that. They will like bullshit them when they are unemployed. But even if you have like money, they might think that this is something they inherit, that they want to see that you're actually doing something, that you have a job, that you have the status of the title.
I think another thing that's different. Do you guys know that meme where it's like the McDonald's worker? It's like a male McDonald's worker, and then it's like female McDonald's worker, and it's like the guy McDonald's worker. It's like broke, loser, worthless, and the girl, it's like that's the caption for the guy, but then like for the girl, it's like girl boss, independent queen, and but it's. Let me find it. Wait.
Like, you really want your man to work at McDonald's? I don't.
wait, let me post it. It's this one, NBC text.
Oh my god! It's true though. Who is chasing after McDonald's workers? Be real. They're men. Oh yeah, my man's the manager at McDonald's. He has such a good job.
But that's the thing. For women to be that, it's a lot more acceptable.
Because they see it as like a stepping stone. Like, a lot of men don't think women should be in the workplace in the first place So she's out of the way doing like an easy job or like a job that's like less like, I don't know, high earning. It makes it easier for men to impress her financially. But if she's like a corporate girl boss or something like that, she might have an issue dating and like struggle with dating because like a lot of the men that are on her level as far as income goes, they might be looking for the woman that work at McDonald's or some shit to bring them up or something. Like just because she's young and pretty.
And that's a lot more comfortable for men because a lot of men are threatened. If a woman makes a lot of money, they're threatened by that. So financially well off, female breadwinner is turn off to guys because they feel like, okay, well, that makes me feel emasculated.
There's a freaking case study about that. Sorry.
A lot of career women are really interested in family stuff. They just want to focus on career, so this is like a red flag, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, there's a freaking study about like female breadwinners and like they're married, and apparently their husbands feel emasculated. Their husbands lie and say they're the breadwinner, or like sometimes they'll be at dinners or like buying food at grocery stores and stuff like that. And the husband will ask the wife for the card for he could pretend he's paying for things. And it's just like,
oh, yeah, I
that's
saw
so
TikTok
crazy.
smaller like example, but it's like it was like a TikTok where the girl was like me giving my boyfriend the card, so it looks like he's paying for dinner.
Oh my
I was
god.
like, oh my god.
Oh my gosh, I remember the joke now since we're saying jokes. So yeah, men want women who are hot but don't show it, just like women want hard-working men who don't actually go to their job.
It's true though. Like if she used to fucking cover up and never leave the house for no one ever wants her, but if he's fucking working a good job, like he needs to always have time to give me attention and like validation any moment I need it. He can't be at work constantly. Like who's gonna give me the validation?
Yeah, but it also
That's
kind
crazy.
of feel neat because this is like what's wrong with him if it doesn't work, like even if he has money. And this
Yeah,
is like a problem
you
for
just
me
can't
because
honestly.
I actually do have like fairly good finances, but I am not working, and I think this is causes issues for me with dating because then they ask what are you doing like every day.
I mean, yeah, if a guy finds a girl cute, I guess it's like if she's not working, it's like whatever. I feel like they don't care as much. Like it's like that's like an older, like maybe older person thing. I don't know. I feel like nowadays it's kind of a meme, but I feel like guys are becoming more feminine generally nowadays.
That
And
is so true.
I feel like the standards are like kind of changing. I
Men
feel
are
like
more feminine.
30 is probably the cutoff for that. Like 30 and up, it's like okay, they're okay with that. But I mean, maybe younger, it's like, what are you doing? You know, I don't know.
I think it's
Yeah,
the mindset of the man, honestly, not the age. Like when I
True.
first started my boyfriend, like I was not working at all. I was really just laying on my ass, and he didn't care at all. And I feel like a lot of men are like that. If they have the mindset that's more like traditional or old school. And there's plenty of like older men who like don't want their woman like they need a woman at work. So, like they want to do the 50-50 thing. And there's plenty of like old guys who prefer that. So I think it's like less age and more mindset. And I
Yeah,
think it
but I
depends
feel
on like
like
their upbringing, obviously.
older
Like,
people are more likely to have that mindset. That's what I guess what I was getting at.
yeah, with the younger age, there's this big thing about equality and feeling like women should be working and should be making just as much as them and stuff, or they don't get any of their money and try to make it like what they think is true equality, even though like sometimes the standards of cleanliness they want is a little skewed, so then the woman often cleans too much or something along those lines. They still think it's an equal share or whatever.
yeah, she's gonna cook, clean, have children, take the kids to work and take the kids to school, go to work, then come back home, cook dinner, take the kids home from school, take them to the activity they need to go to, and then fuck her husband at the end of the day. Like that seems like a lot. Like
That is
she's
a
not just a
lot.
wife; she's also like a fuck toy. She's a freaking babysitter. She's a nanny. She's a freaking maid. She has all these freaking jobs plus her own normal job. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I want that to be the normal.
At the current age, stay-at-home moms should be trying to evolve and help with the costs that are coming in this economy, Maybe if you can grow your own garden, start making your own vegetables, and do all these, like, little minor things just to help around with bills and, like, saving money, that'd be the better way of, like, benefiting
Call
the
me
household
evil.
while also making your man, like, love you even more.
I
You guys
think
can call me evil, but like I think the men just make more money.
The whole equality thing is fucked up, and it pissed me off, and I feel bad for sort of drifting away from the original topic. But like, with like the whole equality thing, I think that's stupid because it's like, okay, women typically take on that they take on giving birth, they take on the child rearing responsibilities, usually do house work, chores, that emotional labor that isn't accounted for, and yet people are like, well, it should be 50-50. It's equal, but it's like, okay, but a lot of men don't like get off their ass and actually do 50-50. I feel like women generally care more about their offspring than men in a way. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that's
I'm not
I
sure
think
if this
part
is
of it,
correct, but I do think is the best solution is to have the woman work a bit less, so maybe 4 hours a day or something like that. Not full time. If you have like children and everything, you also have time for that. Just work a little bit less. Like especially if you have like a lower wage job and the man is earning more. Especially like waste your time on some fucking shitty job at McDonald's as a female. Like sure if you need to for the finances you might have to like work some hours or for to help the economy. Or to just get out or not stay home all day.
I think at the basic, like, I guess as a girl, you don't need to be as impressive as a man when it comes to dating. And you don't
Yeah,
have
that's
that
look pretty
pressure
and
on
show
you.
up.
in order to get dates, you don't have to be impressive, but I think in order to keep the man, you have to be a little bit above and beyond, or else, what are you different than the next hot bitch? This
Yeah,
is
Well,
but
what
yeah,
it means for me.
that's excluding like sentimentality. Like a lot of guys get attached. Obviously, some would be like, "Oh well, you're replaceable," but it's like dating as a guy is hard already, so they'll probably just latch on to what they can get. It's
true,
pretty
true.
self-evident with most relationships.
There's too many desperate guys out there. It's very easy for them
Exactly.
to just settle with less. I was just saying that you should try to put more, so then the sentimental value you bring to these guys is like much high. They're gonna cry just thinking about leaving you.
Oh my god.
That's what you want to do to them. You want them to cry thinking about leaving. That's how much you want them to love you.
What about like the whole attracted to like the married men?
Oh my
Like
god.
girls that have like a like attraction towards married men, and it's like I guess another girl finds that attractive, then it must be good.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's the fantasy of like this woman must have it so perfect, so I must replace them in that spot and become this man's wife.
Well, I think it just Timothy Chalamet, like him, not like the most attractive man ever. He's okay, but he's not the most attractive. But yeah, all these women simp for him, and I feel like it's like a chain reaction. Oh my god, all these girls think he's hot, so he like sort of becomes hot to me. If someone's desirable, then more people will desire them in a way. I mean, obviously that baseline attraction has to be there, but I feel like that adds on to it.
This comes from both sides, where the being desired does something to the individual to make them even more desirable, but the fact that other people are seeing it makes a lot of people want to like join in on the like bandwagon kind of deal.
Yeah.
The impression I got with females is that they are kind of attracted to like high status males, but they are
Yeah.
not for the most part willing to enter like polygamy. They don't want to share a male for the most part. Not really. I think some will, but I get the impression that they get very jealous if they have to like share a male with someone else.
Some will. It's culture. There's like a TikTok too where they were like interviewing girls in Japan and they were like, how do you feel if your husband goes to like a love hotel with a prostitute? And a lot of them were surprised and like, it's fine. It's not cheating. It's just sexual. It's just sex. And it's like, what? That's crazy. I don't know.
That's
That's like
insane.
they did like a lot. It was like a lot. Like a lot of them just did not care. They're like, it's whatever. It's just like it's just like, entertainment basically.
Yeah, but maybe if they would, for example, leave more permanently, if the female, they will get more upset because it's not really about the sex thing, it's more about their companionship and kissing and everything.
Yeah, in Japan there's a lot of honor, is there not? Where like doing this behind closed doors is like more secret matters where it doesn't matter, but like to disrespect your wife and like to have this woman out in public with you would probably be the most shameful part of it all.
Dating as a girl, you don't really have to put in as much effort. You don't have to try as hard. You could try like a man could give like the same amount of effort as you, and yet you would receive a lot more attention and opportunities compared to a man. Like a man has to try a lot harder to impress a woman, trans or not, compared to like a female or a trans woman.
Men have to do a social performance, as I feel like women get better odds from like more being prepared and like looking pretty for an event and stuff.
In general, it is the woman who set the standards for everything. So, for example, both men and women may have opinions about behavior, for how dating should be done and everything. But at the end of the day, the more attractive people kind of dictate everything, and generally those are women, while the men have to cater to whatever bullshit the women come up with.
Oh my god, so women required men to wear cones on their head, they would do that?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh my god. That's crazy.
but that's why I feel like a lot of men are butthurt about that, whereas women hold like this monopoly on the sexual market. They control everything. And all the incels that are like, well, we're gonna have sex robots replace you. It's like, no, you won't, because that's not real.
It will lower the population, but I think it will increase the average person being decent because all the subhumans will be the ones with the robot.
I'm actually fine with like incels having like $6 or whatever. Like but the thing is, this is the most retarded group ever. Like a fucking $6 a sex robot. You have to have a broken brain to think this is something admirable or desirable in the first place. Like I would never fucking in my life have sex with a fucking $6. I have fucking self-respect.
Yeah, with the incels, I feel a little bad for them because the reason why women have like this monopoly on stuff is they have like so much social support. As with half of these men, they don't even have friends at all. So they're trying to depend like half of them have this desperation just because they're looking for someone to connect to. And they don't even like think of the option of like getting friends first and like, being content with themselves. They're just too busy with I need a woman, I need to have children and a family. That's the only thing I can do to like improve my feelings as they are now. A bad way of going at it.
But on the other hand, if you have a strong desire to have children, like you kind of need to satisfy that in some way, but often you need to do like other stuff first to have a better chance at it. So if you are like unemployed, low status, you might have to fix that first before you have a decent chance of actually having a family. While if you're a female, you don't really have to wait. Then, as a final topic, what's the difference you think between dating as a cis woman and dating as a trans woman?
I guess you have to disclose that you're trans most of the time for safety reasons. Well, you don't really have to, but for safety reasons, you probably should. And that kind of complicates things. And a lot of guys, like, once you tell them, might not, like, be so, like, confident in being attracted to you or dating you or whatever. I think that's the main difference. Like, you could pretty much get the same benefits. You also cannot have children.
Yeah, like the biggest one is not having children. I'd say that unless you're going for like empty dating and like not trying to get super intimate, you might face a lot of rejection from telling people that you're trans, and that will be a bigger difference. Is not everything will be like super easy and free. You will get a lot of attention, but if you don't disclose you're trans, you might get a lot of rejection once you disclose that.
That's so true.
I think one
nyuu.
important test when dating males to trans person is that you need to make sure that the male isn't like ashamed of dating you. So if he try to like hide the fact that you're trans from his friends or something, this is a big red flag. But if he is open about it and don't try to hide it, this is maybe a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or at least, they like try to like address this kind of thing where like, maybe they don't tell people that you're trans, but they like tell you beforehand like, "Hey, my friends are transphobic. This is why I'm gonna just treat you as you're like a stealth woman in these situations." Stuff.
Yeah, that's fine too,
That is so
but
true.
you don't want him to like fucking hide you and
Yeah.
only like meet you up for sex. That's not really ideal, I think, unless he's like paying
Yeah.
you.
Make sure you see the difference between someone trying to hide you and someone just trying to protect you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're like still passing, this is not really a problem. You can just pretend to be like a cis girlfriend to people.
True.
Actually, you can
Maybe.
actually have children sometimes, but then you have to find like these lesbians and then either use bank sperm or go FHRT. But yeah, you might be able to have children, but it's a bit messy.
I do think dating as a trans woman with lesbian and bisexuals, it's a tricky position, but I think you have some benefit over some lesbians when it comes to the bisexual woman, because some of these lesbians be like, I have this connection and stuff, but I want someone who has like a real penis and be able to have children someday. And so as a trans woman, you can kind of fulfill both the female connection that they want and the ability to have children. So I think there is some benefit to doing it, even if it's like a hard dating style. I've heard like lesbian dating is pretty hard in general.
Yeah, from what I've heard, and I got that impression that a lot of lesbians are like turfs, even if you don't say it, so they might not be willing to date a trans person for dumb reasons.
Yeah, I usually I say a lesbian a lot, but usually I try to mean it as in, just being interested in women, even if you're interested in women and men. So, yeah, you'd probably want to go for bisexual women, for sure.
I
I'm just saying
mean,
that you would fulfill a lot of lesbian needs, kind of thing.
there are like decent like lesbians who don't date males but trans women. It's just that you have to be prepared that some of those are fucking turfs and are like brain dead, retarded, so just don't like feel
Yeah.
bad about it if they're like rejecting or whatever, because it doesn't mean you're not a real woman. You shouldn't like hold up their validation or something valuable, because if they are a turf, like anything they do shouldn't matter, and they should be put in their guardianship anyway, so.
Yeah, I think there's different kinds of danger between dating men and dating women as a trans woman. I think with men, it's more of like immediate danger from like being deceptive or like, just like the pain of being rejected. As with like women, if you don't tell them, I think it's more of like they'll try to harm your social reputation, like try to say you raped them and stuff. And that can be like, I think that can be even more damaging in some cases.
Yeah, we had a case of someone in the server talking about how they were like constantly asking if she was okay when they had like sex, and like asking over and over again. And then afterwards, the female claimed that he had like raped her or whatever, or she, sorry. It was so freaking stupid. Like, I honestly
Yeah.
think that had he never asked and just went along with it smoothly, I don't think would have had the same issues.
Yeah, that was a very messed up situation. I remember that where, yeah, kept on confirming if the consent is like good to go and all right, and the woman was saying yes, and then the day after it was still rape. Like,
Yeah, it's probably
but
because like a lot of women think that sex that's not good is rape because they didn't consent to have bad sex.
Yeah, so this is kind
yeah,
of ironic, but if you actually try to follow those like feminist laws about like affirmative consent for everything, they might actually end up with a rape charge as a result, because the sex was bad as a result. Well, if you don't follow it, the thing is like nobody will record you, nobody is like filming when you have sex, so it doesn't actually matter what happens. The only thing that matters is that she had a good time.
yeah, it's like they're conflating the emotions of having shameful sex with someone you don't want, even though you accepted to it over and over again, means that it's rape. And like sometimes it could be coercion, but in that scenario, they were like throwing themselves onto the trans woman. It's fucked up. So like, I don't know. Like, it's scary dating women just because of like social repercussions that can happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think you get maybe some protection as a trans female, but I'm not sure about that, to be honest, because trans female are kind of the scrutiny now with the culture war nonsense, so you might not get the same leeway as a cis female, unfortunately. Like, if you get accused of rape as a trans woman, like every conservative outlet will like write about you on all these fucking websites, then like even if it is bullshit, like they don't care.
Are we still talking about the difference between dating as trans or cis?
We kind of derailed.
It
A
was
little
more
bit.
of like a lesbian and bisexual woman dating as a trans woman.
What I wanted to add is the whole difference between trans and cis is use the trans as like leverage, like, because in their minds, like, if you're trans, you're a lot more desperate, which I think some cases, yeah, that can be true. But
Yeah, especially in transphobic areas where it's like everyone's just treating you as disgusting. Like the first few chasers that just give you any love can just like make the biggest difference.
I think maybe the issue here is that, let's say you try to live a stealth and then you date a male and come out to women. So I think kind of hard to hide, like, unless you had like this perfect non-existent as a result, he can kind of figure out you're trans. And then when he knows if you piss him off, he might like tell everyone that you're fucking trans and have like move to another area to like if you want to keep living stealth. But this might be like a problem dating males or like people in general, if you cannot like trust them. I don't think there was even any law against like outing trans people these days, not as I am aware at least. This might need to change, to be honest. This is something that maybe trans activists need to fight for, but don't really, because they don't realize the need. Is there anything else you want us to cover?
Incels try to say that you hit a wall, but the closer to reality is you maybe some kind of hits a wall, but like for the most part you just hit a new level of fetish. Where it's like, you know, if you're not a pretty woman, you soon enough you may just become a MILF or like a grandma that they want to fuck, and like
I
there's a
think
lot of granny chasers out there and stuff.
the whole wall thing is really cringy too, because it's like guys are still going to be desperate for that. Like, what? Like, that's the thing.
Guys hit a bigger wall than women. Yeah, women just hit a new sexual fetish market, I'd say.
Yeah,
You're not
who the
as
fuck
desirable,
grandpas? Be
but
real. Grandpas are nasty.
some of them are
Grandmas,
kind of
people
hot.
date, grandpas they don't.
I think some grandpas are hot.
Girl, I can't. What? How are they hot?
Wait, you know that grandpa from Grace and Frankie? Wait, hot grandpa. Let me post the VC text.
Oh my god, not a hot grandpa.
Oh yeah, that guy's actually pretty good looking.
No, he is not. That is a grandpa. I'm good.
No thanks.
He's all old and
I wouldn't
frail.
like to have sex with him as a female, for sure.
Oh my god. What women are chasing after that?
He's hot. I like him.
No, he is not,
I'd
girl.
say compared to a lot of older men, he is pretty good looking in comparison.
Yeah, but he's still old and kinda past his state. Nah, I don't want him.
I'm good. I will
What
never
about him
smash.
right here?
Mostly heterosexual.
He's a-
No, I'm
anyway,
good.
so
He looks weird as hell.
He's a gilf.
There's something uncanny about this one. Just too smug, rich business guy to me.
He had too much Botox, probably. His face looks so
I
stiff.
think it's the Botox.
his teeth are kind of bad, so that's a part as well.
His teeth are bad?
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah, they look weird.
Yeah, they look weird.
He got chiclet teeth.
It's a
Oh my god,
left
what's in the podcast? Hold on.
What about him? He's hot here.
Yeah, but he looks too feminine in ways.
Ew,
Kind of weird.
no.
This guy's kind of It's funny how we're just like judging men now.
He looks scary. He looks like a serial killer.
This guy's a little this guy looks like a goofy kind of fun guy, you know?
I don't know. He looks deranged. Look at those crazy eyes and that crazy smile.
I feel like it's the picture giving the wrong kind of
Yeah,
impression.
it
I
looks
feel like
kind of weird.
Clear?
the kind of guy that's like in the friend zone and then breaks out of the friend zone, if you ask.
Okay, this marks the end of episode 18 of the Transmaxxing podcast. Have a nice day everyone, and like and subscribe.
Yeah, like, subscribe, and share the video.